So like everyone else, I played Elden Ring when it came out. I was blown away by how amazing it was, how engaging it was, how fun it was, what a good level of challenge it was. And that game just kept going and going and going. Just when you thought maybe I'm coming up towards the end, you would find an entirely new area or two entirely new areas. And the game just kept going and going, and there was so much content, and I was immediately reminded of Dark Souls 2, which is by far one of the best Souls games. Easily, it's my personal favorite, and when I say that, it really is Dark Souls 2. You'll notice this is not Scholar of the First Sin, this is just base Dark Souls 2. I've never played Scholar of the First Sin. I've never really had much of a desire to, because I thought Dark Souls 2 was plenty fun when it came out the first time, but that's just me. I understand why some people don't agree with that. But for me, I just love the variety of locations in this game, and I feel like there are certainly knocks against it. It's not perfect, but the shortcuts that it takes to deliver what it is, definitely worth the trade-off in my opinion. But hopefully I'm sure we'll be getting into that, a lot of that as we play, and I'm not going to waste too much time. Dark Souls 2 is great. And we're going to have blood on, subtitles on, the HUD is always going to be on, and we don't need to adjust the brightness. Wow, that's a lot of options here. Oh, jump control. So, interestingly, from Dark Souls 1, which only had the ability to, when it first came out, I think they added this in the remaster. But in Dark Souls 1, you obviously could only jump by holding down the sprint button and then letting go and hitting it again to jump while sprinting. In this game, by default, they made it so you could jump by holding down sprint with the circle on the right, or the right face button, or B, whatever, and then click left stick to jump instead, but I never learned how to do that. I switch this immediately every time, because why would I try to learn something new when I could just do the same thing that's always worked for me?
Perhaps you've seen it, maybe in a dream, a murky, forgotten land. A place where souls may mend your ailing mind. You will lose everything once branded, the symbol of the curse, an augur of darkness. Your past, your future, your very light. None will have meaning, and you won't even care. By then, you'll be something other than human. A thing that feeds on souls, a hollow. Long ago, in a walled-off land far to the north, a great king built a great kingdom. I believe they called it Dranglake. Perhaps you're familiar. No, how could you be? But one day, you will stand before its decrepit gate without really knowing why. drawn to a flame. Your wings will burn in anguish. Time after time. For that is your fate. The fate of the cursed.
And here we are in the things betwixt. We were betwixt cutscenes for a while, but now we're here. And that is such, speaking of cutscenes, that is such a good cutscene. I love that one. There's the CG and the framing and just the way everything looks is great. Now, I remember this grass here that you're looking at right here. I remember it being real crunchy. I remember the sound effect being very loud, so why don't we go ahead and see. I can't remember if they patched this out or not. Yeah, no, that's still real loud, just like I was hoping. Now, I'm not sure if there is anything to see off in the distance here. More likely, I'm probably just going to walk off the ledge here, but we do see these really large columns off in the distance, and this grass is too tall. So let's just move on, and yeah, even before we make our character, we have control over it, which is very interesting. These little guys are so creepy. I love them. I always forget to take I feel like every time I play this game, I forget to take a closer look at them, and every time I do, they're just so cute. Like cute little dogs. Alright. I doubt we can do anything with this here. Man, it's so funny to think back when this game first came out and my hype levels were just absolute maximum. I think that I probably mentioned this in my Dark Souls 1 playthrough at some point, but that was so long that I recorded that now. I don't know what I said. I barely know what I'm saying now. But I think I may have mentioned that I didn't really care for Dark Souls 1. I loved Demon Souls when it came out, and when Dark Souls 1 came out, it just didn't really grab me in the same way. And also, here's a little secret path, but I don't really want to go that way just yet. And, so Dark Souls 1 came out. I sucked at it. I bounced off it. I didn't really like it. I preferred the level-based setup of Demon Souls. There were a bunch of silly opinions I had. But then I went back to Dark Souls 1 and played through it with a friend of mine, and he sort of helped me see the light on how good that game was, and we played it a lot together, and it was a lot of good times. And because of that experience, this game coming out ended up being just, I was so excited, and I still am excited now to be experiencing it again.
What seems to be the ruckus?
Oh my, your face. The face of the curse. It's an undead. An undead has come to play. They all end up here. All the ones like you. You spoke to that kind old dear.
didn't you? You're finished. You'll go hollow. Yes, you'll become one of them. Hollows prey upon men, feast upon their souls. This is the fate of the cursed. What is your name?
And also how funny it is, because this game is, 12 years old now, 13 years old. It's funny to think of how much better this game looked than Dark Souls 1, especially with the lighting. And how it's really starting to show its age after so much time has passed. And this is a very random poll, but, well, let me try to recall my name here really quick. It's a very random poll, but Final Fantasy XIII is a game that looked incredible when it came out, and for a long time after, people still would say this game still looks incredible, because, I mean, it does. It's really impressive, but now, after so much time, the same amount of time as this, really, even more so in 13's case, because it came out in 2010, I think. That game's really starting to show its age now, so it's just funny to think of games that look so good when they come out, and just with the passage of time, they all wear down eventually.
At least you know your own name. Here's your reward for sharing. It's a human effigy. Take a closer look. Who do you think it's supposed to be? Think back, deep into your past. Yes, it's an effigy of you.
Wow, what a pose and what a look. So let's go ahead and pick our class here. The human effigy item is the humanity equivalent in this game, or near enough. There's a few differences, but we'll get into that. Now, what kind of character would we want to play? Obviously, in Demon Souls, we did a magic build. In Dark Souls 1, I'm blanking. Probably Dex. I would assume I did a Dex build for that one. And which is funny, because in Demon Souls, the magic build is considered the easy mode build, because magic is so strong in Demon Souls. And in Dark Souls 1, there's so many really good Dex weapons with really great scaling. And I don't know if the popular opinion has changed, but to my recollection, people would say that Dark Souls 2 was very much, strength was very much the easy, and let's not cast judgment, not the easy route, but just a very strong route. There's a ton of great strength weapons, and you know what? We're gonna do that. Which strength should we do? I'm not sure. We could do Deprived if we wanted to start with level 1 and balance stats here. My first character was an explorer, and I regretted it for hours because it just had that dinky little dagger. Sorcerer might be fun, but no, let's do Bandit. That's 9 strength. Knight is 11 strength, and Warrior is 15 strength. But they start with a broken sword. You know what? Let's just do Knight. High HP and adaptability. It's been a while since I played this game. I'm gonna need the survivability, I'm sure. And on that note, I say Dark Souls 2 is my favorite. It is my favorite to replay, but it has been quite some time, so I thought it might be fun, kind of an extra fun layer to playing the original game and not Scholar of the First Sin. I thought it'd be fun to kind of rediscover it. I think I remember enough to get through and, talk about stuff here and there, but we'll see. Okay, life ring slightly increases HP. That's not really fun. Human effigy might be good, so we can stay in our human form. Healing wares, various items. Oh yeah, we can see actually that gives us like a poison cure item and life gems on the right there. No, thank you though. petrified something in a bonfire aesthetic. Oh, that's right. I know what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to get the petrified something, and we're going to see if we get good luck with it in a little bit. Okay, how do we... I'm afraid to hit back. Okay, good. We don't need to spend too much time, though this game does have a better character creator than Dark Souls 1 did. Let's just go with good enough. Physique, I'll take the left one, that's fine. Homeland presets here. Let's go with this one. Looks like a jovial fellow. And let's make him have bright white hair. Change those eyebrows. Give him a good beard. Oh, that just doesn't look... There we go. And here's all of the different character options we can mess with. We can change protrusions, expressions, we can change occlusions and fullness. But I'm happy with this. This is our true self.
All people come here for the same reason. To break the curse. You're no different, I should think. Doesn't stand a chance. Well, you never know. Go through the door and trot along to the kingdom. But remember, hold on to your souls. They're all that keep you from going hollow. Oh, I'll fool you no longer. You lose your souls. All of them. Over and over again.
A little bit on the nose, wink wink, nudge nudge to the player there. Oh yeah. This was like some horrible pre-order incentive or something like that. It ended up being rolled in as just DLC eventually, I think, but yeah, that's a lot of stuff. The Dragon Talent, Heavy Iron Key, and Frozen Flower. This is something I will say, I know that Scholar of the First Sin does, that I do wish this version of the game had, where those are just the DLC key items, which means that as soon as we come across, oh well, the game did not want me to read those any longer. It was like, you had enough time to read this window, and now that window is gone. In Scholar of the First Sin, or because in this version, because we have those DLC key items, as soon as we get to the entrance of the DLC, we can just immediately go into it. But one of them's the Frozen Flower and the Crown, or whatever those are. In Scholar of the First Sin, those items are just distributed throughout the open world somewhere, and I think that's really cool. That's a lot more fun than the game just throwing you an item and you stumbling into a DLC. But anyway, look at us. Look how kindly we look. Just an evil laugh from that woman.
You must go on a journey without rest. Well, I suppose if you find yourself at an impasse. But if your will is yet unbroken, then you may return here to start again with a clean slate. Now, go along, go along.
Just a bunch of old women laughing. And And here's a younger woman as she laughs.
This is a limbo. A link between Drangleic and the outer world. Fair traveller, I know that you must have a story. Why else would you visit such a place? This lost, decayed kingdom. My name is Millibeth. The old women were once fire keepers. I am here to look after them. It is what my mother did, and her mother before her, and so on.
So there's our first interesting nod to something that we're very familiar with from the previous game, Firekeepers. Although obviously these Firekeepers look very different from the one that was, for example, stuck in the bonfire in Anne Orlando, or in that bonfire room, or the one underneath, why am I blanking on what that's called? Firelink Shrine, is that what it's called? In Dark Souls 1, as soon as you get out of the tutorial, I think it's Firelink Shrine. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, brain. Alright, let's head up these rickety steps, which I would be very scared to climb up in real life. For our first chest. That's a good animation, and in it is a human effigy. Nice humanity tool for us here. So something interesting about the chests in these games, in this game specifically these wooden ones, is if we hit it, you'll notice it's a little jittery. It's looking a little tense when we hit it. And that's 2 hits, and when we hit it a 3rd time, just gets straight up destroyed. And if we hadn't pulled out the item from that before we did that, I think it would have turned into rubbish, or it would have done something to it, and it's a good thing we didn't. So this door is progress, and you know what, let's go ahead and open it. But we are about to turn back. We definitely should open it for this tutorial for bonfires or places of respite. You may also light torches on them. And there's some scary bone thing over here. Oh, indestructible bone. Those are some tough bones. And this is another thing we can destroy here. Again, jittery to show us that it can be destroyed. Soul of a Lost Undead and a torch. Let's go ahead and light this and take a look at how different it is to light a bonfire in Dark Souls 2 versus 1. Very pretty. Another thing that was a little controversial when Dark Souls 2 was the newest Souls game. Fast travel unlocked from the very beginning. Don't need to get all the way to Anne Orlando and do the Lord Vessel quest to unlock it. You know, that's a great feeling to unlock that, but I gotta appreciate the bold swing of just giving it to you to start with in the rest of the games. Anyway, we're gonna head backwards, like I said, past these old ladies and down the steps. Now we can't do anything to get over here. There is a path right down here, though, that's very, very hidden, that leads to a small, smooth, and silky stone, and that'll be great for us. And now crossing back to the bridge here. Now, equipping two-handed weapons in this game is kind of weird, or going two-handed. In Dark Souls 1, it was just tapping triangle, but I think you hold triangle. Oh no, that's what it is. You tap it to two-hand your right weapon, and then you hold it down to two-hand your left weapon, I think. And Dark Souls 2 is also awesome because it added power stances, but we'll get there. Let's go through here. It's actually really cool the way that the audio just fades out like that. And here's a big boy. I wonder if we can get, how close we can get before he aggroes onto us. Maybe we can get a strong attack in. pretty embarrassing for this guy. And he's gonna fall over, and then we can get a few hits in like that, but only 2 because I am not greedy. And we have 10 life gems to heal, so I feel pretty good about our ability to get rid of this guy as long as I don't lose sight of the endurance meter there, which I almost did. I always struggle fighting this guy because it takes a little bit. Oh. But then you look at his Cyclops eye and you think, oh, he's kind of cute, so it's sad that we have to kill him, but it'll be worth it, and he's not too hard. I think he's gonna drop a ring. A stone ring, yep. And speaking of changes, again, from Dark Souls 1 to 2, look at this. Would you believe it? 4 ring slots. Thank you, FromSoft. Additional reduction of enemy poise, so this helps us reduce and knock enemies to stagger them, rather than increasing our poise. And also the big guy was guarding a gold pine resin, which I will gladly pilfer. And through here we now see that we are in this cute little creek, which we can run through and appreciate the visuals of, but cannot go down here, although right down there is where we picked up that item from the, if we didn't pick up that item hidden underneath the bridge, that's where we could see that right there. Okay, up on dry land, and now we will jump. Oh, we'll dodge roll, actually, we won't jump. It's funny that the first time I try to jump, I screw it up. After making such a big deal about I like the old school jumping more. There we go. Jumping in Dark Souls 2 is a little wacky, so we'll see how that goes. Our next goal, it gets quiet again because it knows I'm about to start whispering. That's our goal. The bright light off in the distance, but we have a lot of tutorial zone to get through first. I say we have a lot. I'm just going to go through it really slowly and uncover every nook and cranny, so it's going to be slow. And I'm going to do it in the next video, so I hope you enjoyed our our start with Dark Souls 2 here. A little slow, not a ton of progress, but look at how sweet our character looks. He's excited to play through Dark Souls 2, as am I, and I hope you are too. Thank you so much for watching, and take care. Bye for now.